Hello and welcome to the first video on the Rosed YouTube channel. My name's Cosmo Khan and I've created Rosed because I'm an opinionated football fan and I want to give my opinion like everyone else out there does, so I thought I'd create myself a platform to do so. Already I have a website launch, you can check that in the description down below. I've already got a few articles posted there, including 2 interviews, one with Paul Machin from the Redmen TV and one with James Pearce from The Athletic. So I thought, what better video to do for my first video on the Rosed YouTube channel than talk about the new proposed Super League, which has got Twitter going nuts. I've compiled some information on my laptop here, so I'm just going to read a couple things. So I'll be looking over here, just so I can get the information right. So the clubs that are proposing it is Real Madrid, Barcelona, Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Juventus, AC Milan and Inter Milan. It's being backed by $6 billion in debt financing from JP Morgan, supposedly, and it would supersede the Champions League. The way the league format would work is it would be made up of 20 teams, 15 being permanent members, and another 5 teams. First of all, 15 teams being permanent members. What is going on with that? Can you imagine in the Premier League if 15 teams couldn't get relegated? Because that's what being a permanent member is. You can't get relegated no matter how terrible you play. Imagine if you're lower down the league, you have no incentive to play well because, well, even if you play badly, you're not going to get relegated, you're still going to stay there. It's a cash grab, isn't it? As for the other 5 teams, the other 5 will be rotated in and out of the competition based on performance. So all of a sudden, you're entering a league where you can get relegated, but 15 other elite teams that created it can't. What? In terms of the money, the founding members would be granted between 100 million and 350 million euros each, and the clubs would receive a fixed payment of 264 million euros a year. Astronomical money, astronomical. So as I mentioned earlier, it would mean that those teams would not compete in the Champions League, which is huge. Can you imagine if you're the Champions League, if you're UEFA at the moment, you have the Champions League, which is arguably the biggest competition in club football, and 15 of your best teams are just going to up and leave. All the broadcasters, all the sponsors would withdraw all their money because no one would want to watch it anymore because it's not the Champions League, it's not made up of the best teams. Now, it's not yet clear what the intention is in terms of the domestic leagues. It does say here in this news report that I found that they will continue to play in their national competitions such as England's Premier League and Spain's La Liga. But could they? How can you maintain playing in 2 leagues, especially when one of those leagues is all around Europe and you've got to travel week in, week out? There's a statement here from UEFA, the English Football Association, the Premier League, the Royal Spanish Football Federation, La Liga, the Italian Football Federation, and Liga Serie A. So a lot of bloody federations going on there. They say, if this were to happen, we wish to reiterate that we, all the ones I've just mentioned, but also FIFA and all our member associations will remain united in our efforts to stop this cynical project, a project that is founded on the self-interest of a few clubs at a time when society needs solidarity more than ever. What? I think it's pretty rich that we've got governing bodies like UEFA talking about society needing solidarity. I mean, when have you ever cared about solidarity? The Premier League came up with a separate proposal earlier saying the Premier League condemns any proposal that attacks the principles of open competition and sporting merit, which are the heart of the domestic and European football pyramid. Fans of any club in England and across Europe can currently dream that their team may climb to the top and play against the best. We believe that the concept of a European Super League would destroy this dream. So as you can see, the Premier League, UEFA, all the leagues absolutely adamantly against it, as they would be, because it would undermine their leagues. They'd probably lose a lot of money. That's all they care about. This is where it gets interesting. So those teams would need permission from their leagues to play in the European Super League. And as you can see, they're not going to get that permission. The leagues are adamantly against it. So what would happen is they would have to try and coerce their way out of it. They'd have to try and get out of it another way. And if that is the case, then supposedly FIFA would ban the players participating in the European Super League. They'd ban them from international competitions, the World Cup, European Championship, etc., etc., etc. And that would totally ruin those competitions as well. I think it's an interesting time to announce it as well. Just before the Champions League are expected to announce a new format. Now I have the new format here and it's just terrible. It would change it to 36 teams and there would be a so-called Swiss system in chess. The model is used for tournaments in which there are too many entrants to realistically play each other, but they don't want to shrink the tournament, so not all teams will play each other. They use coefficient record over previous seasons to determine wildcard places. There would be 2 wildcard places. So, for example, if Liverpool didn't qualify, but they've done really well the past 5 seasons, they'd be a wildcard entry. Again, what is wrong with the current system that we have? Right, so it's a new day, and a lot has changed. So I recorded that video yesterday before anything actually concrete came out, and now something concrete has come out. So yesterday, it was like midnight or so, all the teams simultaneously came out with a statement, all the Super League teams. I say all of them. It was Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool. They all came out with a statement, and it looks like the Super League is going ahead. And my God, I don't think I've ever seen Twitter so crazy. First and foremost, it looks like the teams that are participating in it are actually going to be banned from the Champions League, potentially this year and looking like next year as well, which is just nuts. So that means Real Madrid, Chelsea, and Man City, those 3 look like they are the teams that are founding members of it. They are going to forfeit the Champions League. It was crazy because yesterday it was all of this was sort of rumours in the Telegraph and in the Times and stuff like that. And as soon as this got announced, I just got like a sinking feeling in my gut. It was just like, it's actually happening, isn't it? Now, we've known that football is being completely and utterly ran by the elite, the billionaires. And we've known that for ages. And this is reflected in the rising ticket prices, the rising kit prices, the insane, all of the insane prices that you have to pay now just when you go to the stadium. Fans are being priced out of football. I mean, you only have to look at the Champions League final, the Europa League final. I mean, Arsenal versus Chelsea was played in Baku, which, if you know anything about geography, Baku is miles away. Also, all the tickets for the Champions League and the Europa League, most of them are corporate. There was soulless. That's what I'd say. It just feels soulless football at the moment. And I think what this has done is this has cemented the soullessness of football, because it's not just these clubs that are responsible for it, it's the governing bodies as well. At the moment, it was sort of being pitted as these 12 clubs that are starting this, or however many there are, against UEFA and against the Premier League. But they're all kind of as bad as each other when you think about it. I mean, they're all money hungry. Their only obligation in life is to make money. They don't actually care about the integrity of the sport. I mean, you had UEFA, as I mentioned yesterday. UEFA saying this undermines solidarity or whatever. Solidarity? UEFA were very quick to come out with a statement about all this when it was being rumoured and when it was being leaked. They're not very quick on anything else when it comes to discrimination in the game, like, racism. I mean, you only have to look at the Slavia Prague Rangers game to see what happened there. It just feels like the fans are going to be the ones that lose, regardless of what happens. Even if this Super League doesn't actually come into fruition, which it looks like it will, the fans are going to lose. I think, what does this mean? I don't really know. What does this mean for the game? What I think will happen is the Super League happens, 20 teams, they're going to be playing games all over the world, like America, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, all those games. Football will become very corporate and the games will be soulless. Because I was looking into the finances of it yesterday, and it's looking like the prize money for actually winning the league is pitiful. It's minuscule. I think it was like, I'll say pitiful. I think it was something like 30 million. I could be wrong though. Obviously that's a lot of money, but to these clubs, that is incomparable to the money that they're going to get just from being in the division. And also, the prize money for the Champions League at the moment is far greater than the prize money for actually winning the league. And if you can't get relegated, if the 15 founding members can't get relegated from that league, what that means is they're basically guaranteed the insane money that they're going to get from the league every year, with no risks of losing out on any money, whether that be through not qualifying and through relegation, wherever. But what that does, whilst it guarantees them a lot of money, it just completely takes the fun out of the game. I mean, Liverpool were on tonight against Leeds at 8 o'clock, and before this happened, there was anticipation around the game because Liverpool need to win this if they want to get top 4. It doesn't matter at all now. It doesn't matter now. And if they were 6th in the Super League, top 4 wouldn't matter in the Super League, would it? Because Doesn't matter. They're not going to achieve anything. They're not going to get Champions League football. They're just going to be in the Super League again next season, earning the same amount of money. Maybe they can buy more players but for what? For what reason? Now, I'm not too sure what this means in terms of the 6 teams in the Premier League, because it would be catastrophic for them to drop out of the Premier League. I mean, I know that the billionaires have ultimate control, but do they really have that much control? I don't know. But all I know is that if these 6 clubs dropped out of the Premier League, Man City fans, Man United fans, Liverpool fans, Arsenal fans, Chelsea fans and Tottenham fans, I think there would genuinely be riots outside the stadium, as there probably should be, to be honest. I'm not inciting violence, but there is going to be protests about this. It just means that it's all meaningless, Like, we love the Premier League. We love the fact that Leicester can win the league. We love the fact that Liverpool do amazing one year and then they just turn absolutely terrible the next year. That's kind of the fun of it. And you've got to go through the lows of football to experience the highs. I mean, look at Liverpool last year. They won the league for the first time in 30 years. The reason why that was so special to them was, well, because they haven't done it in 30 years. If the Super League gets through, then winning the league isn't going to matter. There's no prestige to winning the Super League because it's not a sort of historically prestigious institution. It's just an obvious cash grab on behalf of 20 billionaires. And even if they're doing badly, what's wrong with that? Nothing. They're not going to get relegated. Nothing's going to happen. It's just all pointless. And I'm sorry, but Arsenal in the Super League, I'm not trying to dig out Arsenal, but even Arsenal fans will tell you how terrible they've been this season. They've just drawn 1-1 to Fulham, who are probably going to get relegated. Why should they be in a league? Why are they putting themselves in such high esteem when they're no better than Leicester, West Ham, Everton, all these teams? It's just, not only is it an obvious cash grab, but it's just extremely disrespectful and arrogant on the part of all the clubs. I mean, Leeds versus Liverpool tonight. Why should Leeds even bother? Liverpool don't care about them. Liverpool don't hold them in such high esteem that they feel like they should be playing them. They just have utter contempt for them, really. And it's pretty sad to see. Now, we all know that football has been going this way for years. As soon as the billions poured in, the financial fair play was just completely inadequate, and none of the governing bodies did anything to stop it because they're all corrupt as each other. We knew this was going to happen, but it's the fans that are going to suffer. The governing bodies and the billionaires are going to make their money regardless. They're going to fly off in their private jets, go on their yachts at the weekend, and we're going to be stuck watching Man United versus Real Madrid in Saudi Arabia, and the winner is going to mean nothing because who actually cares, the pre-season tournaments in like America and Asia and stuff like that. You sometimes get like Liverpool against Man United on a pre-season friendly, or Real Madrid against Man United. I think it's just going to be like that. Like, yeah, they're going to make loads of money from ticket sales abroad, and it's going to be 2 prestigious teams going up against each other, but there's going to be no sort of interest in it from any Man United fan. I don't know if Real Madrid fans are going to care about that. It's just going to be boring. I think this is just more evidence of billionaires just sucking the life out of the working class, to be honest. Don't really have to say much more than that. But yeah, it's pretty depressing. Everyone on Twitter, all my friends that I've been talking to about it, everyone's just absolutely sick of it. Spoken to a couple of people who are fans of, the top 6 clubs, and I think the top 6 clubs will lose a lot of English fans as a result of this. But to the billionaires, it doesn't matter, because if they lose a couple of fans in England, it doesn't matter to them, because they're going to make money elsewhere, abroad. They can make money from JP Morgan, from the TV rights, from America, from Saudi Arabia, from all these countries. And, no disrespect to any of these other countries. I mean, obviously, the worldwide fan bases are what makes a club so prestigious, and the international fans are brilliant. Now, a lot of them, they have to stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning to watch some games, but I think they would also agree that this is soulless, and the games should be played in England. We should have English leagues. They should have a Spanish league, an Italian league. It shouldn't be a Super League with no sort of incentive to win. I think, to play sort of devil's advocate, I think that a Super League could have been good. Like, UEFA are supposedly screwing over these clubs because these clubs demanding more money of UEFA. Now, I don't actually know the ins and outs of the finances between UEFA and these clubs, so a Super League could have been good, but the way that they've created it and the competition format of it is so terrible, because they've just obliterated any competition before it's even started. There's no sporting integrity to it. There's no fun in it. There's no love for it. There's no grandeur. It's just boring, and we all know that it's just there to make money with no thought of the sport itself. It's just crazy. So I can't really say much more than that on it. We don't really know all the ins and outs at the moment. Like, there was rumours that Bayern were going to join it yesterday, and then apparently they're not today. So I guess we're going to find out more stuff as it comes out. But yeah, it's just a sad day for football, to be honest. And I think it's only going to get worse from here. Money talks, and in the end of the day, the billionaires always win, don't they? Because they can. So yeah, sorry to end that one on a somber note, but I can't really say much else on it. No, if you do like this video, you can subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, comment your thoughts. I'd like to see, and also, if any of you actually are in favour of this Super League in the current format, please let me know why. I'm open to debate. I'm not going to be horrible about it. I just want to know why. Make sure to check out my website. I've got, as I said at the start of the video, a few articles up there. But yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it on that note, and I guess we'll see what happens in the future, and let's hope that our game isn't killed.